for this semester. Well, definitely I will be still your teacher in other subject. That would be reading and writing. So if we are focusing on speech in this subject and our communication, definitely on the next subject, definitely you're going to write, and of course you are going to read a lot. Okay, so for us to start, let's have first our prayer to be led by Mark Salva. Mark, can you please lead the prayer?
Okay po. Let's bow our heads and feel the presence of our Lord. God, you are always worthy of my praise. I am so in awe of you. For the rest of my life, help me to begin and end each day by giving you the praise you deserve. Because you have done great things, and all the glory belongs to you alone. Amen.
Okay, amen. All right, so this will be another lesson. As I said, this is just a very short discussion, just because this will be, uh, this is actually the shortest lesson that I have given you in this subject. So, if we talk about if you are able to browse the worksheet that you had from week 5 and 6. Class, what did you learn from it? What did you learn from the lesson that you have learned? Anyone from the class? Okay,
Um,
you can open your microphone.
it
Yes,
is
Christelle.
it is about stage fright and how to look presentable on the stage in front of the crowd. It is divided into three parts, which are the preparation, performance proper, and the post performance. For the preparations, some tips included there are: we should plan our performance, believe in ourselves, and be confident. While for the performance proper, we should stay positive and stay focused. And lastly, for the post performance, we should ask suggestions, comments from other people. That's all, sir.
Okay, very good. That's it. You have mentioned everything. All right, the stage fright. Well, I guess everybody has experience having the stage fright. I myself, I'm also guilty of it, especially when I was in college, or let's say when I started teaching in private school. You know, I still have this fright, although I'm already a teacher then. It's inevitable. It's a kind of emotion just because you are lacking of too much confidence in yourself. But if you are speaking, that is something, if you have started speaking in front of the crowd or in front of the audience, well, definitely that is something that you have to overcome. That is something that you have to improve. Just because the more you are trying yourself to be improved, the more you are becoming very confident to speak, right? Because chances are, when you have this stage fright, although you are very good, although you are the most intelligent person, but you have this stage fright, you will buckle, right? Meaning to say, you will stutter, you will lose the connectivity or the connection to your audience. And then, of course, there is the biggest possibility that you will miss to say the things that you wanted to say to your audience. It is becoming very confusing in part of your audience and to yourself, of course, just because you are becoming disorganized in the kind of thought that you have in mind, just because of the fright that you have in yourself, right? So that's why, class, I'm asking you, just because you have provided me the recorded video of your speeches, right? That's why I keep on asking you that you have to record it, to face in the mirror. That is one reason. Okay, that is one of the biggest reasons I wanted to give emphasis on you, just because if you are facing on the mirror, you are connecting. It seems that you are trying to assume that there are people in front of you, right? And of course, that is just one reason, as I said, right? But definitely, my main purpose is to ensure that you are really having a what do you call that? The sincere way out, not the sincere, but then the honesty in delivering your speech. If you're really familiar with the kind of speech that you are delivering, right? Okay, now since that you have learned those things or the aspects that you need to do in able to get rid of the stage fright, now let's have these principles of effective speech delivery. So we have three aspects that you need to what they call it that you need to absorb in terms of the principles of effective speech delivery. The first one we have here, the facial expression. Now let's hear it from Dana. Can you please read, Ning?
Facial expression. Facial expression is the aspect and general appearance of the face. It is important in speech because it conveys nonverbal messages along with the words that people hear from the speaker.
Mm-hmm. So that is facial expression. Okay, it is quite necessary. Why do you think it's necessary to have, based on that, the facial expression?
because it will add some entertainment to the people who watching you with facial expression given to the audiences. They can feel what you're saying, not just delivering the speech, but just they can feel what you're delivering.
Yeah. Another answer. Is there any other answer on that? Well, the facial expression, well, of course, it connects with what you are saying, right? Let's say, for example, if the message that you are saying is quite funny, well, of course, the expression that you have to show with the audience is something what something that you are enjoying. You are getting entertained also to what you are delivering to the audience, right? So facial expression may imply different feelings. It could be joy, anger, sadness, contempt, surprise, fear. What else? Disgust. When we say disgust, that you are irritated, and so many others. And of course, adding facial expression also makes the speaker more entertaining, as I said, and helps maintain audience attention throughout the speech. So that is definitely one of the most important um, facial gesture is that you have to make the audience feel that you are with them, that you are make connection with them. Okay, so that is one thing that you have to you will be the future professional of your own. So that is something that you have to improve in yourself. Okay, now let's go on with the second one. How about this one? Jamaica, can you please read?
Yes po. Eye contact is how the speaker gazes the audience members to practice and understand how facial expressions are like. You can take some time and make faces in front of a mirror. It may seem a little silly or at first. However, when you get used to make some faces in front of a mirror, learning to express emotions through your facial muscles, you will realize how much it can make in addition to your speech.
Yes. So this is how the speaker gazes the audience members to practice and understand how facial expressions are like. Well, definitely there is connection between the eye contact and the facial expression because that is part of it, right? So, class, why do you think it's necessary to have the eye contact to the audience? Why do you
Because
think? Yes.
sometimes our eyes speaks more than our words.
Yeah, that's true. Do you still remember the cliche? Um, our eyes is just what do you call that? I forgot. Eyes is the soul of I forgot. Sorry, but it's something like that. All right, just because the eyes it brings a lot of emotions. when you're frowning, when you're angry, right? So it expresses in your eyes, right? So you could easily determine if the person is so mad on us or something, right? So that's why the eye contact is necessary. Okay, so it may seem a little bit silly at first. However, when you get used to make some faces in front of the mirror, so learning to express emotions through your facial muscles, you will realize how make addition to your speech according to that. So many times it is very effective to start with a smile. Well, of course, especially if you do not know the person, right? So maybe just a part of being friendly, okay? Or although you do not know the audience of yourself, well, definitely that is something that you have to show to the audience, right? So whenever you smile over the phone, it can come out through your voice and can be interpreted as happy on the other end. Have you noticed it yourself, class? Especially if the person that you're talking on the phone is someone that you like to speak with, although you are alone in your room talking with him or her, um, you can't stop yourself but smile, right? So we need to say, you really like the person that you are talking with. Same when you are delivering the speech, you have to make the audience feel comfortable through the eye contact. Okay. All right. Now let's do the third one, the gestures and movements. Okay, let's hear it from. Okay, Lance. Uh, Ladriel. Is Lance, is it
Yes, sir.
Lance? Okay, ang
Yes,
arte
sir.
kasi ng name. Okay, alright. You may go. You're it.
Gestures and movements. Positive impressions about the speaker is important as it sets the initial mood of the audience to give their attention to the speaker. Within a few seconds of speaking in front of the audience, the speaker establishes whether or not the audience would trust the speaker.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think so? It is considered as one of the principle in speech delivery.
Cause it provides you to express yourself from your listener or audience that makes your speech or your presentation attractive.
Yeah, when we are speaking class, we have a lot of mannerism. For example, you are scratching your hair or your head, or something that you are keep on holding your hands or your fingers, something like that. It seems that those kind of mannerisms or gestures is a kind of something like that. I mean, it shows a bit of. I mean, you are not confident enough to speak in front of the audience. You are nervous, right? You are having this stage fright. That is something we have to avoid. But then if your gestures is something that you are being relaxed when you are talking, for example, you are just explaining something like this, you are just putting your hands like this. Um, it seems that um, it shows that you are being confident, you are just being relaxed, right? So there is a positive impression that you can get out of your audience. Okay, so gestures specifically involves the use of your arms, the hands, to express yourself more, while movement is a general term, or we can call it a body language. Okay, so when you're speaking in class, try to avoid those things because it gives discomfort to your audience. So movements can be how you move your body from one location point to the other or to another. So as opposed to standing still on the location, moving around on the stage makes your speech more interactive and entertaining. So you will not just keep on standing on one place, right? Um, if there is a podium on the stage, okay, you don't have to stick yourself or I mean, you don't have to make yourself constant standing in the podium. As much as possible, you have to roam around the stage, right? Just because, that is one thing that you are showing that you are really confident, that you can do something, that you can share something. Okay? Now, we're done with that. So let's have here the rapport with the audience. What do you mean by rapport? Anybody who has an idea what rapport is? What is rapport, class?
Uh,
If you have your
um,
idea.
co- Connection with the audience po.
Yeah, the connection with the audience. That's why they keep on saying the good rapport, right? It's not it is something that necessary to build rapport in public speaking, especially if you desire of influencing your audience. Okay, what do you mean by influencing the audience? To give encouragement to them to have the transition of the emotion that they have during that time. Okay, so that is the rapport. Now, class, we have here, I think, seven. Okay, we have here seven rapport that you need to practice. The first one, I have here the definition, sorry. Okay, so rapport is simply defined as the trust and connection that the speaker creates with his or her audience. It is necessary to build rapport in public speaking, especially if the goal is to influence the emotion and way of thinking of the audience. So, a good rapport makes the speaker exude credibility and confidence without hesitation. Okay, so it is something that you have to keep on improving. So that's why, class, there are some speakers that I always wanted to listen. Okay, Miriam Santiago herself, I really love the way she speaks to the audience. Just because she's not only sharing the intellectual aspects, but also the humor side of Miriam Santiago. If you know her, she is the kind of president that we never had. She's good. Okay, if you're going to watch most of her speeches in the Senate session, well, definitely you will laugh and you will admire her for the kind of leadership that she has or she had. Sorry. Now we have here seven principles. The first one is make a good first impression. Why do you think so? That we need to make a good first impression. How you can make a good first impression?
If we look presentable or we dress appropriately, through that we can easily earn the trust of our audience.
Yeah. So the first thing is you have to dress appropriately. So you dress the way that you will be look not too elegant, but something that you will be look professional, right? Look please clean and organized. That is something. So your dress, your hair, well, of course, your face. Okay, so that is something because that is one way of demonstrating that kind of friendliness, okay, and sincerity to what you are doing. Okay, then the next one, who wants to read and try to explain or try to say something out of this? Anybody? Anyone here? Hello. Oh, sorry.
Him.
Okay,
Sir,
Motia. Yes.
just like what you said earlier, body language is like movements and gestures. And if we have an accommodating body language po, um we should not do our mannerism like to make because those mannerism is making the audience uncomfortable po.
Accommodating body language. Yeah, that is something, demonstration of warmness, demonstrating of what? Smile, right? That is something accommodating to the audience. Or let's say you are giving the handshake to the guests or to the people around. That is something also bring a lot of accommodation. I mean, a lot of warmness to the audience. Okay, so you must show good gestures as much as possible. As I said, as I keep on telling you, avoid different mannerism that only distract the flow of the discussion, the flow of your speaking, the flow of your speech. All right. Now let's move on. The next one we have here: use a lower rate of speech. Mika, can you please read?
Put your audience at ease, make sure they understand every word. Do not use fillers such as and ah. Pause occasionally to show that you are relaxed and comfortable while talking to your audience. A pause can also be used to highlight important parts of your speech. Give the audience time to digest your words.
Okay. Yes. The use of the fillers. That is what we call fillers. The okay. Sometimes I'm kind of it. I'm used to it. I use a lot of fillers, but then that is something that we have to keep on avoiding because when we keep on saying or uttering fillers, like well, definitely it seems that you are losing the connection to what you are saying. It only signifies that you are not prepared. You are unprepared in delivering your speech. And of course, when we lower rate of our speech, I mean, let's say for example, you are giving emphasis to a certain statement of yours. You have to lower it down. Okay, if we're going to say, let me emphasize this one: man cannot live alone. You see, by that, I paused and I give emphasis to that kind of statement. Meaning to say, I was able to lower the rate of speech just because I wanted to make it remarkable, or it is something that will leave, it will mark to the audience, because that is one of the purpose of some speech, to leave legacy to the audience from the statement that you are giving. Now let's have here number four. Number four, let's hear it from Offlin. Offlin, please.
Make the audience fo- Make the audience the focus of your presentation. Ask and interact with your audience at the start of your speech. Show them you are interested with them. Make your speech about the audience and their needs. Talk about the issues and problems that they face. Tell them what you hope for them to gain after they listen to your speech. The audience should feel that you see them, understand them, and respect them. The audience must see that you want them to benefit from your message.
Yes, according to that, ask and interact with your audience. Right. Because that you are making connectivity or connection to them. If you're going to speak without making interaction with your audience, what's the purpose of speaking? It just seems that you are just it's just like what you are it seems like that you are just reading something without interacting with them. Okay, by interacting with them, well, definitely you are showing a kind of interest with this audience of yours. Okay, so you talk about them, the issues that they are facing, because that is one of the main purpose of your speech delivery. Tell them what you hope for. after a day of listening, after an hours of listening to your speech. Now let's have the number 5. Okay, let's hear it from Kyla. Can you please read?
Reveal some
Kyla.
vulnerability.
Okay, reveal some vulnerability. Why do you think
You should
so?
you should trust your audience from them to trust you back. Reveal your struggles and weaknesses. This way you can emphasize how you overcame these challenges. When your audience can relate to your dilemma, they are more likely to listen.
Yeah. Okay. So vulnerability, you should show or trust your audience from them to trust you back. Okay. Reveal your struggles and weaknesses. Okay, that's something that we have to do. That we need to show the audience that you trust them a lot. Okay. That there's something that they can grasp on you. That they have something a lot to acquire from you. Okay, that is showing vulnerability to your audience. Okay, now let's have the second to the last. Let's have manage expectations. Can somebody please read?
Manage expectations. Present an outline of what the audience should look forward to in your speech for them to know what to expect. Emphasize the necessity of your speech. When a speaker fails to convince the audience of the importance of his message, and when he is unable to meet the expectation of the audience, rapport is broken rather.
Okay, so that is rapport. Okay, rapport, and then vulnerability, right? So according to that, present an outline of what audience should look forward in your speech from they know what to expect. So if you have the slide, if you have the PowerPoint with you, try to show them the kind of um, lesson that they can get out of your speech. Okay, so manage expectation, and then the last one. Okay, let's have Lady Lynn.
Manage the energy levels. When the speech is too long and dragging, the energy lowers and rapport breaks. Be aware of the reactions
Okay.
and nonverbal feedbacks of the audience to your message. When possible, inject some humor or get your audience to participate in your speech. You can also ask them to interact with the other audience members. Change your pace and inject activities if they are probable.
Yeah. So manage the energy levels. Well, your audience. Well, of course, if you are the one speaking on stage, well, definitely you can see everybody, the member of the audience, how they react, how they respond to the kind of message that you are delivering, right? So if you see some the kind of, let's say for example, the eyes of the audience that they are disagreeing in the kind of message that you are delivering to them, well definitely that is the time that you have maybe to manage the energy level of yours. Let's say for example they are a bit sleepy, will definitely change. You must have a transition of the kind of levels that you have to show to your audience. Okay, all right, so last, those are the ideas that you have to learn in having the rapport, in having the rapport with your audience, especially during the speech delivery. So I think that would be all. So do you still have your question with you, class?
Si Dana daw
Okay.
po, question
Oh,
po.
okay, Diana, what's your question?
Sir, about dun sa activity 1 po, yung act as an emoji and take